Hi, STEM specialist. I'm Neil Leva, and I'm going to go over with you the egg drop experiment that we have prepared for you. Some of you may have started it already, and you need to work out some kinks in Google Hangouts to get this working all right. So, hope not to keep too much of your time, and I'm going to share with you the Google, the GRYC egg drop experiment. You have this. Some of you have this as a document that I sent to you, and some of you have this through Google Drive. So really what it comes down to, you can do this experiment for over 3 days. And this has been a really great activity with children over the years. So really have a good time with it. So your objective is you really don't want to reveal too much to your students. And as always, allow them to think for themselves and work in pairs and work in groups. And I should say I'm teasing out for you an outline of sorts of learning objectives and student objectives. And of course, this is for you to mold with your students. You know your students best. You're the experts. So make sure that you know this is not gospel truth here. Materials. Going to have to ask you again to purchase with petty cash. Very cheap, easy to find things. Trash bag, 10 popsicle sticks, 5 pieces of cotton, 2 feet of string or yarn, scissors, glue, 1 sheet of paper, plastic baggie, and 1 egg, only on day 3. And that is per group of 2. So if you have 20 students you're dealing with, you're going to have to factor it all out and discover, how many trash bags and popsicle sticks that you need. We tried to use some of the same materials that were used in the previous experiments for the catapult. So if you have anything left over, now would be a good time to use it. So steps for day 1. If you have access, and I know some of you do, to smart boards or computers or pictures, you can show images of egg drop parachutes online. Very easy to find. Break students into pairs. Have every student, this is step 3, design their egg on a blank sheet of paper. Make them aware that above materials and tell them they will not be given any more than what is listed. So really what you're telling the students to do is to design and engineer a parachute using only these materials here. Pretty self-explanatory. Step 4, all designs must be drawn and labeled with all the materials accounted for. If not, have them continue until complete. So in other words, back up to the materials. If they looks like they have 8 pieces of cotton that they've labeled, you need to have them dwindle that down to 5. And that's really what I explained here. Also tell the students that you'll be dropping the egg from about 8 feet high, and that could be your arm extended out, or if you're comfortable, you can stand on a chair. Don't have the students do this. You need to be the one that's going to finally do the executing of this experiment with them watching. It will get a little messy, which is later on I recommend that you buy an extra trash bag for the floor, because some of these eggs will split and they will break. So you need to be very careful of that. So the first day is really drawing and designing and making sure that their drawings are identical to their partner's drawing. Both students are collaborating, if you're having them do in pairs, and engineering same drawing. They can collaborate about the ideas that they want, but they must have as close to identical drawing as possible, because when they put this together on day 2, they're going to need to be using a blueprint. And if you have 2 students in a group, or 3 students in a group, and they all have the same, different drawings, then that's not a way to build a parachute in the spirit of collaboration. So they're using the drawings from the previous day, and you're asking students to make modifications. Once you're satisfied, hand all the materials in a plastic baggie. Remind students to put their names on the baggie so all the material can be neat and organized. They can begin building their egg drop chute without the egg. The egg is for day 3 only. This is 3 days. Day 3 is down here. You're on day 2. We're talking about here. We don't want them dropping the egg on day 2. Part of this is collaboration. Part of it is engineering. Part of it is critically thinking about how they want to create a parachute by first drawing it and thinking about and predicting what might happen. Ask them to follow their blueprint. They didn't just do this for the fun of it or to draw just for the sake of drawing. If they make changes while building, that's fine, but they must be reflected in their design, just like any engineer or architect would do. Allow students time, and tell students they'll drop their parachutes, sorry about that, on day 3, the next time you see them. On day 3, it's very important that you are organized and smart on how you drop the eggs. The most effective method that we've found is to, like I said before, use trash bags on the floor. If the egg splatters, we'll have a mess to clean up, but it will be an easy mess to clean up. If the yolk splatters in different directions, be sure to tell someone if you're not comfortable cleaning it up. Don't need sticky egg yolk in the classrooms of the teachers the next morning. Remind students that you'll be dropping from about 8 feet high, which you've already told them. And make sure you have fun. You can make it into a competition or anything else you'd like to do to keep it fresh and fun. You will find the eggs don't break. That could be first place material. If they slightly crack, that could be second place material. If they totally bust open, then the students didn't quite make a parachute that was, I guess, cushioned enough for the egg to drop. If time, have them draw and label another egg drop. And this is very important. Once we do a project like this, it's really essential that the students reflect and go back and think about what changes they would make. Would they want more material? And if so, what and how much? Why do they want it? Would they like to have other material that was not given to them? And if so, why? Draw it and label it. So in other words, if nothing was in their way, what would they do? What would they create? If you want to make it tighter in the sense of the reflection, you can tell the students that you could only change one thing or 2 things. But the point is that you're really trying to get them to reflect on the mistakes that were made. And the mistakes will be seen on how much the egg is cracked or broken. If the egg didn't break, you can always challenge them to say, okay, now we're taking something away from you, and draw and label that design. As always, please feel free to give us a call or email. I'll type in my email right here so you see it, neilleva@me.com. My number is 718-810-48, or you can contact my colleague, Rob Monahan, at me.com. And his number is 646-281-1666. Call, text, email us, tell us how you're doing, and just be sure to be in contact and never hesitate to ask us any questions. Thanks a lot, and have a great night. Bye.